Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Teaching Tech Moment. This is the second episode, and like I promised in the first episode, we're going to go into detail about installing a retro system on any device you have. I'm talking laptop, I'm talking Raspberry Pi, I'm talking toaster. Maybe not toaster, but we will install it on today a laptop because a lot of people have a laptop, and there's a little something special about the laptop that I have today. It's a tablet, but without further ado, the first thing we do is talk about tech, and I'm going to teach you a couple of things you may have known about and you may not have known about. First things first. Gaming emulation has been around for years, and with every new year, dedicated users break down the working parts of your favorite gaming systems and create a digital environment that does the work of both the software and the hardware. So you don't need a physical disc and a physical system to play it because the software does the job of both things. Now, older video game emulators don't require much power to run. If you have an old laptop or desktop lying around, you could comfortably play games from Atari all the way up to the PlayStation 1. Today's system is going to be using an older tablet that used to run Windows 7, if that gives you an indication as to how old this system is. Take a look at this. This is a micro SD card. Some range from 8 gigs all the way up to a terabyte. But did you know the entire Nintendo gaming catalog from the NES to the Nintendo DS can fit in an entire 128 gig micro SD? That's right, NES, SNES, N64, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and Nintendo DS could all fit on one 128 gigabyte micro SD card. Amazing, right? Now in today's episode, we're gonna do things a little differently. In the first episode, I unboxed a Pi Station and we got to work through the kinks on what it's like to put it together, put a Raspberry Pi in it, and throw an old retro emulator system on there, Recalbox. Today, we're gonna put Recalbox on an old laptop so that you at home, even if you don't have a Raspberry Pi, can still play your old favorite games, all the way back to, let's say, Atari. My first system was an NES. What was your first system? Feel free to throw it in the comments. To get started, before you even get to do the computer stuff, you'll need two things. You'll need a USB, preferably 32, at the minimum 8 gigs. And then you'll need a USB controller. Today I'll be using an SNES USB controller, and you can get those from Amazon. I'll throw a link in the show description so that you can find. They are relatively cheap, $10. Once you have those two, we can jump right into it. Oh, and you need your laptop. You definitely need a laptop to do this. So here's Recalbox. Now this is recalbox.com, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the download button over here. We're gonna press download. It's gonna say select the channel you wanna use. This is the only one. You don't wanna go to any other older one. Go whatever newest version of Recalbox they have. It'll say stable, big button. They try to make sure you don't steer clear of it. Click on that. And we don't have a Raspberry Pi or handheld or Odroid. We have a PC. Click on PC. Click on PC again, and they say you're gonna download the imager. They have 3 different versions. If you have a MacBook, go ahead and get this one. If you have a laptop with Linux, go ahead and get this guy. Most people have Windows laptops. We're gonna go here. We're gonna get the imager. What this allows us to do is, this allows us to put the image onto our USB key. It's downloading in the top right there. We're not gonna open that yet, but we are gonna download the Recalbox image here. Go ahead and click that. It's a bit larger, so this will take some time. I'm gonna fast forward to it because I already have it downloaded. All right, so now you have your imager, and you have the image, and you have your USB drive already plugged into the computer. All right, so the next thing you do is go here into operating system. You're gonna start off up here, and it's gonna show you a lot of cool things that, hey, feel free to play around with. It's pretty cool what this imager can install. But for our use, what we'll do is we'll go to the very bottom, and we'll go to use custom. All right, now the thing you downloaded is the Recalbox image. It should be in a zip file right here. It'll probably look like this, or if you have WinZip installed, it'll be in a zipped file. You'll need to extract that in the same location, okay? So I extracted it. This is the actual image right here. It's 3 gigs. This one, the current version that I'm using. And that's what you want. It'll have a little disc on the icon there, and we're gonna open it. I have a not micro SD card, but a USB drive in the computer. Here it is, it's 32 gigs. I'm gonna do that. And then all I'm gonna do is write it. It's gonna say, hey, are you sure you wanna do this? It's gonna erase everything. Yes, I'm sure, warning box. No baby pictures on this one. It's gonna erase everything. Boom. And then you just let it do its work. Now, while this is doing it, just go ahead and think about all the cool games you wanna download for your recall box to play. Once it's done, you'll wanna remove it, and it's gonna tell you to remove it too. From your computer, give your computer a reboot after putting the USB key back in your computer so that it boots from this. The key thing is you want your computer to boot from the USB key to open recall box. Some people might have to go into their BIOS to do that. I can't give you instruction on how to do that because everybody's computer is a little different, but usually it means pressing F1 or F10 as soon as your computer boots, in case recall box doesn't open as soon as the computer starts with the USB drive still plugged in. The next thing you're gonna see is the start screen for recall box on what it should look like. All right, everyone, here it is, my Samsung Slate 7. I'm gonna just read you off the specs here because this is to prove that you don't need a powerful machine to play old emulated games. Now, this is the Samsung Slate 7. It has a 1366 by 768 HD resolution. It only has an Intel Core i5 2 generation 1.6 gigahertz processor, not a strong one at all. 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gig solid state drive baked into it. It was originally loaded with Windows 7. I since have put Windows 10 on there, and as long as you don't run it too hard, it can do just about anything I need it to do. Just a few Chrome windows here and there, but really for this purpose right now, it makes for a great emulation device. So here, as soon as you put your USB drive in your computer, it'll boot up recall box. Again, look at your BIOS. If it's not booting up to recall box, you may have to change some settings there. And then this is what you should see. It'll be a little splash page in the beginning, but then you'll see all the cool systems, and it give you a little history about each system. Right here, the best-selling game for the Sega Genesis is Sonic the Hedgehog, and as you scroll up, it has a lot of cool systems already in there. You just have to be the one to install ROMs. What are ROMs, you say? ROMs are what we call the games that you put in here for each system. Now, I can't tell you exactly where to get the ROMs because it's a bit of a legality thing here, but as long as you Google search, whatever system you want, SNES ROMs, you'll find them and you should be able to download them no problem. The next thing you're going to see is how to put the ROMs on this. Now you have to put this in your computer and have it boot up to this so the folders can populate. After they populate, go ahead and shut this bad boy down and then take your USB key out and then boot Windows back to normal. We're going to go back to Windows just real quick. So we've taken our USB drive out of our computer that we're using for recall box, the old laptop that we mentioned earlier, and we put it back into the computer, or maybe it's the same computer that you've been working on. Maybe you didn't use an old laptop. Maybe you're just using your normal computer. That's fine too. But once you take it out and put it back in, a folder is created. So you see recall box to the left here, but right underneath is the share folder. This is important because once you click on share, these new folders are now what we'll need. And more importantly, the ROMs folder is what we'll need. So we open that up, and here's every system that is on recall box. You've got N64, you've got Linux, you've got MAME for arcade games, Neo Geo. What you're going to see in the videos coming forward are some SNES and Sega games today. So you can even throw in some Sega 32X games. Again, ROMs are the games here. So let's find SNES. And what's cool is each folder has a README. And when you double click on that README, you'll see everything that this game folder should take. This system allows you to use compressed ROMs in zip or .7z. So you can take the whole zip folder that you get if you see my Kirby up here, and you can drop it in there. What I like to do is I like to extract them. So this is the SMC file up here, and that's what I put. So we're going to close this notepad. And whenever you find your ROMs, again, if you just Google search ROMs, you'll be able to find it easily. Go ahead and drop Kirby into, I'm not going to do it, I'm just telling you, right into the folder that it goes into. This is an SNES game, Kirby Superstar. I found the SNES folder, and there I dropped it in there earlier. This is an SFC file, so this must be an older one that I used. And I have Final Fight in there, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and Spider-Man and Venom Separation Anxiety. Great games. And these are SFC files, which, you don't necessarily need to know, but just know that SNES takes those, and you can see that in the README. Do this, rinse and repeat for all the systems you find and all the ROMs, and then you'll have your perfect Recall Box retro gaming system on your old machine that we're about to look at right now. USB drive is back in the computer. Computer is booted with ROMs in the ROMs folder. Only thing left to do now is to game. First thing we're going to play is Super Nintendo. Going to boot it up right here. Kirby Superstar was always a favorite growing up. I'm a big fan of Kirby. All you gotta do is hook your controller up and it just works. No downloading drivers or anything. If you recall in the first video, we've got some background of the old SNES. I think that's the Japanese version with your game starting right there. Boom. I'm gonna go ahead and play. Let's jump right in it. Whoop, whoop. Tell you the truth. No. And that's just it. I'm playing Kirby. No, it's not my first time. What is this? No. No, I know how to Kirby, all right? And then, yeah, Kirby Superstar. Ooh, I'm just trying to get some gameplay in here. Wham, you're mine. Yeah, okay, not the best. Kirby Superstar, everybody. The next game I'm going to play is Sonic and Knuckles with the Sonic 3 cartridge baked in that bad boy. I had Sonic and Knuckles. Remember I told you I had a Genesis? And I had the Sega Sonic version 3. Threw it in the top. It was like transforming a game into another game. Blew my mind. Yeah, let's go Zone 1. Sonic and Knuckles. My buddy John would always try to skip cutscenes, and I find myself doing it right now, but I guess they want you to see this cool version of Sonic, Super Sonic, that is darn near impossible to get because you got to get all the stones, and that dude right there, Knuckles, wants to make sure it doesn't happen. Plays beautifully. Playing this on an old tablet that was virtually useless, and now I'm just dying, but I'm living. I'm living on the inside as far as playing this. Secret compartment, yes please. Whoop, still got it. All right, the last game on the list to show you. Again, I told you, the system I grew up with is Sega Genesis, and we're going to do it right here with a classic. That's right, Battletoads and Double Dragon, the ultimate team. Rash, Zitz, Pimple, oh, and Billy and Jimmy Lee. Oh my goodness. Don't make games like this anymore. Let's go Zitz. I think that was a fart sound. Oh, this game was as hard as all get out. I never quite beat it. But I used to love how their fists got all huge. You see that? Come on now. And that's it. Guys, you can emulate practically any game you want. Throw it on any old device you have lying around. I'm pretty sure you got an old laptop that grandma gave you and said, honey, this will be great if you install your doohickeys on it. Go ahead, bust that bad boy out. Put some old games on there. Have a good time.